Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, Destiny 2 gameplay video with two YouTubers. So, Sloth is one of the first people that was a commenter on my channel, and Urban Shield. Those two were probably two of the earliest people, gave me a lot of encouragement. So we finally have worked out to play. Sloth is on an Xbox. That's Roxy. Urban Shield is on a PlayStation 5. I'm on a PC. So we just started this battleground in the EDZ. You're going to be able to hear me talk. I've lowered it quite a bit, but I couldn't get it working with the other guys because I'm incompetent. And I've had a problem with this audio thing. I got to get serious about my audio eventually if I'm going to live stream and do all that other stuff. It's been horrific. I have OBS and I have all that, and I got stuff, and I just sometimes I like to play games more than make videos. I like making videos too. So I have a legendary bow, and at this point, well, I'm going to die. So we're not at the not respawn part yet. Sloth has taken me through this just earlier. Ultimate got online and we grabbed him. So he's kind of new to this content. I've never done this. I've always been too scared to do it. I appreciate Sloth kind of mentoring us through here. One could almost say he's shepherding us through here. And I really appreciate it. It's amazing that I didn't know these people. Let's see, I started in November, so let's say 4 months ago I didn't know these folks, and now we're playing and we're on different platforms. So this is one of the things about now, which is amazing. Doesn't matter what type of device you have, but you can all play together. We can talk sometimes together. I'd switched out my good weapon for that. That was a mistake, and I get smoked for it.
Not looking behind me?
No, I'm not looking behind me. I will comment on my dumb comments. So this bow has something called stasis, and what happens when I kill enough people, I'll get, you'll see my arrow becomes frosty. Then if I don't aim down the sights, but if I have a problem jumping. If I don't aim down the sights and I just free fire, forget what that's called again, it'll put down an icy barrier. If you hit that icy barrier, it explodes and does I forget what it's called, some type of damage, like, you know, particle damage or whatever, crystal damage. So we're going through here, marching forward. At this point I may have let's see what my score is on my thing. It may be was up at 1700 something when we came here, 1736, and then I might have raised it, but I had a build where I had a lot of resilience, and that doesn't. And that's me dying again as usual. So I've been really at this point changing my gear so I could. It's very easy if you're coming from the Division 2, which I am. Division 2, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Destiny 2, it's on the fly. It all seems easy. That's number one. Number two is what Sloth let me know is that the soft cap is 1750. So I'm going to have to do special things after this. Right now, we're just trying to do, we're just want to get warmed up doing this, and then Ultimate has some things that he needs to do, so we'll do that. I'm in no hurry to get to the hard cap, or, you know, I'd rather do it with these guys or work with it. I like having fun with these guys. For someone of my age, this is all pretty amazing that we're all from different parts of the country, and then we can play and we can talk and all that other kind of stuff. So now we're going to get into like the first big skirmish of this, and this is a pretty good fight. Again, I don't know this is the only second time I've seen this. I don't know the mechanics of the fight. But what I'm going to tell you, in any game, right, stay out of the stuff on the ground. That's number one. Number two, this is in everything in life. When I was in the Coast Guard, there was a rash of accidents. One, unfortunately, a rescue helicopter was coming back on the West Coast up in Washington, Oregon, and it was foggy, and they ended up smashing into the side of the coastline up there. And that's a horrible thing. And around the same time, on the West Coast, because it's west facing, they have a lot of surf coming, so you'll have a river that dumps out into the Pacific Ocean. You'll have tides that come in. You have those waves coming in. It creates what's called a bar, and that's really nasty to get out of a bar sometime. In the old days, what they'd say to the Coast Guard, you have to go out, but you don't have to come back, whatever it was. It was stupid, but that's what they used to say and believe in. And so when these things happened, Coast Guard kind of had a safety shutdown, and they kind of try to talk about, situational awareness, that's why I'm bringing that up here. You see, if you're always focused in, if you're always zoomed in, you don't see what's up above you or to your left or your right. You can't even see your radar. So there's a situational awareness that you have to have. It's a real life thing that happens in real life. It can be deadly in real life. And recently I was talking to some veterans. I was in a veterans group. We were talking about PTSD. And they were saying how, when you're in country or when you're in the military, you have this hypervigilance. And that's really cultivated in the military because, you're always looking, you're always on lookout, you're always aware. Problem is, when you get home, you don't always need that hypervigilance, and that can cause a lot of issues. And one of the things while I'm listening to this person talk, and a counselor talked to them about it, and they're like, maybe that's a bad thing. I'm just thinking about how many times in my life and how many times in the military that was like a good thing. So I've had a lot of success in my life being hypervigilant. Maybe did my kids not think that's so successful? I don't know, but that's a quandary for anyone. If you're vigilant and you have your head on a swivel, that's good, but then sometimes that can be bad. So how do you do that balance, especially when you're coming back from the military? And I never saw super traumatic things, not like a person that's seen combat. Not taking anything away from people in peacetime, not taking anything away from people in the Coast Guard. Our mission, what I liked about the Coast Guard, I got to do my mission all the time, and it wasn't like an act of war, and I didn't have to worry about that. My mission was go out to save people. And so that was one of the things that I enjoyed about being in the Coast Guard. And it got into other things, and I got to be in command. So I got to scratch a bunch of itches. But nonetheless, this hypervigilance is a good thing and a bad thing. So I don't want you to be hypervigilant, but I want you to kind of keep your head on a swivel a little bit when you're in a game. Don't get focused down your sights. You got to look at everything. Check out your radar. And what I found is as you do things more often, we talked about learning styles. And what happens as you become more familiar with something, you're going to eventually, everything will slow down. So when I'm in the Division 2 and I'm doing Legendary, I can see things more. I don't have tunnel vision. Just to follow up on a couple of these Coast Guard stories, obviously the helo, it was a horrible incident. Everyone, I think, perished in that. On the small boat going out of the bar, the only person survived was the newest person that wasn't ingrained in how they did things, right? They were still so fresh out of boot camp. And I forget the exact thing, but that always stuck out to me. And another thing, there was a U.S. Coast Guard cutter, Buckthorn, in Tampa Bay that was going out of the bay at night, didn't see a bigger ship, ran into the other ship. The other ship's anchored, released. The Buckthorn was caught and it flipped upside down. We're out of this part. And capsized. And so all the senior people, there's a story, I don't know if this is true, this is what they told us in the Coast Guard. All the senior people, there was a group of them led by a senior chief or something, was saying, okay, we gotta go up to get out of the boat. And there was this one new guy from boot camp. It's like, no, we gotta go down to go up. So all these people went up, which they were really going down. And this kid in the car, I think only 3 survivors from Buckthorn out of a crew of 57. You please fact check me. It's a horrible thing, but they told us about that in part of this stand down kind of thing about how you can get in groupthink and how you can get to a point where, you know, you just go along because it's what you've always done, or you take, you know, chances. What came out of all that in the Coast Guard is they had a mandatory 10-hour shutdown. You could, you know, you had to get rest after 10 hours unless it was a real emergency. More stories later. So now we're in the main part of this boss, and we're going to talk about the situational awareness again, right? At this point, Sloth Mood has been in this battle more than I have. This is my second time seeing it, and this is Ultimate's first. Ultimate does a great job. Ultimate has some real skills. He's a great player. I like watching his videos. I think that's a person, if you look at his videos, he always looks to help people in his videos. Like he takes on a healing role. He absolutely is a glue in a group. He's a person that's going to, he specs healing. He has ancillary skills that help the group. Sloth Mood is more of a, you know, if you look at his videos, he's a gun guy, a red guy in the division. He's a guy, he's your bread and butter. He's your, you know, he's the guy, your DPS guy. He's unflappable. He doesn't ever scream and yell like I do in the middle of the match. It's great here. I'm bitching about that, you know, if they can hear me, it's like being in a marriage where they can hear me, but I can't hear them. That's like everyone's dream. But Sloth is very measured, has dry sense of humor, which I really thoroughly enjoy. If you go out of that circle, you're going to die eventually. So I go out to get these guys with my sword, and then I run back. I really like Warlock. I don't know why I like it. I have some ideas. I think it's a medium damage and medium survivability. It's not tank, but it's not glass cannon either. And so that's what I like about it. Here I jump into the pillar like a dummy, and hopefully I don't die. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this. So I'm looking up now into the corners where we're getting, I get smoked. And that's dumb of me. I've told you about that, like looking at a boss or looking at a lieutenant, and I'm just fixated on him instead of watching I put down my heel, and now I'm going to go after that guy. So this is a good fight for 3 people that don't know each other. We're learning each other. And I was super excited. Again, I'm really happy this is just happening. We can't really talk. I'm bummed out about that. But, oh, I am going to tell you one thing. Sloth Moods pulled a fasty on me. Ultimate Shield, great guy. Great in the video. Sloth, great guy, great video. But Sloth kind of handed me the lead. I don't want to be the lead. So when I get more comfortable, and I don't care that he knows this, in a battle like this, I'm going to switch. If I can figure out how to give him the lead back, I'm going to go back and give him the lead during the battle and see if he doesn't realize he's the lead. And so then we're waiting at the end. And he's like, Ronan, are we going to? And I'm be like, no, bro, you're the lead. That's one of my favorite things to do is give the lead to other people. And he enjoyed giving it to me. So that's a nice thing. A little bit of camaraderie. So Destiny 2, at this point, it's fantastic. If you look at that a maintenance, you know, less a week on the Division 2, and there's all kinds of problems, and some of the shit doesn't work. And I like the Division 2. I like just playing the game, and it works here. I like that, you know, I kind of am getting a feel for Destiny 2. Don't like the jumping. But as I've gone more, it's okay. I'll probably start going into the builds. Again, if you're a Destiny 2 player, congratulations. You have been playing a great game. You should try the Division 2 if you like something different. If you can get it on sale, it'd be worthwhile. There's no monthly fees kind of like this, and you get season stuff. So it's a good value. But right now, Destiny 2 for me is kind of, it's something I like to do. I love the bow. I got to raise it up. I like the mechanics. I like that I could pay to win, but I'm not going to by buying stuff that would help me level up my gear faster. I think I still have to do these things like Sloth tells me. I like not being the expert at a game. I like that Sloth knows way more about the game than I do. He's a great teacher. He's a very good person to group with. He's just calm about it. Makes a lot of good observations. We'll be in the middle of battle. That's not in this video, but another video. We were facing a hard spot, and no one freaked out, and we just made it through it. And we also did another, I guess, strikes. So we did a couple of strikes, and the last one we did, Ultimate had a great, I don't know why I call it. Ultimate has a great skill where he can kind of lock down a boss. So that was fantastic. So there's a lot of really good things. I'm a dumbass. By the way.
Dummy, sorry.
Yep. We had played this earlier with a guy that like speed rusher there. Now,
Oh, nice wall.
yeah,
Oh, that's
Ultimate
a
Shield,
lot.
and then talk about a person that has the whole package. Ultimate Shield, he puts up a shield wall. I mean, he has the whole marketing for his character and his channel. But he doesn't, and I guess I'm Ronin, I'm masterless, so I guess I fit that also. Sloth is not Sloth at all. He has bad marketing for that part. But it means something else, I'm sure. He shared some music. That's another interesting thing. It's a group I'd never heard of, and I really liked it. And I appreciate that. I think I told you the other day, try to learn new things, and I really enjoy grouping with these guys playing this new game. I want to thank you at this point for subscribing, liking, sharing, and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. I had some comments today. Someone was telling me I should really make a build with Eclipse Protocol, and I want to have those dialogues with people. This bow now I'm just rocking it, right? I'm putting up that shit nonstop. And I hope that person doesn't take offense. I like what he said, and he's right. There's some content, but I want you to look what's happening to me right now. What if I could do this same damage or a little bit less damage to everyone, but I could be in cover? That you would consider that OP. But that's what I can do in some of my builds. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some type of leeching, and that's what I get with some of the skills on Warlock. You can see I have this, this might be my higher resilience, so I can take a little more damage. And the ice stuff is just fire. So I don't hope that person doesn't, I kind of explained a lot my point. Part of the thing in the legendary, you just got to stay in cover. You can do damage behind walls. I used to play Eclipse Protocol in Division 2 all the time. It was like my master set. And I wondered if there was something different, and there was. And that was like all my builds in the Division 2. When I started coming back in earnest, I just tried to make the best gameplay for Legendary. So I wonder what Legendary is going to be here. The difference between this, it's probably more kiting and having to have more damage. Right now I got a nice flow, excuse me. I don't know if this cold or COVID or whatever it is ever going to go away. I don't know if it's because I'm talking a lot and I don't take what if I had a script and I did all that? I'm giving you my thoughts off the top of my head. Yeah, and I just forgot what I was talking about, but I wanted to talk to you another thing about analogies. So, again, being a person that's very interested in philosophy and language and how we... I'm going to try to throw this ball at someone. That's a waste. Horrible shot. Analogies are important if you're with someone face to face. Like when you sink the 8-ball and 9-ball and you lose. People that play pool understand that as an analogy for failing without, being at the end of the game. Some mechanic makes you fail. And a person will nod their head or lean in. Those are nonverbal cues that they're getting it. otherwise, when you're explaining something, how do you know if they get it? There's so many, and analogies are very cultural as well. Having been in the military and been all over the U.S., down south in some places, they call pop Coke. So the first time I said, hey, I'd like to have a Coke, and they said, well, what flavor do you want? And I was like, I looked around like, what the fuck? But it's not. It's just a different culture here, even in the U.S. If you go to Europe, that's one thing they'll remark. They're so close to each other, but the cultures are also different. There, the boss is down. I'll talk more about analogies another point, but I'd like you to consider how you communicate to people and how you get the feedback that they understand what you're saying. This was a great group with these guys. I'm going to kind of let you see what I think Ultimate ends up doing the most damage. He's a pistol guy. He's a badass.
Now if we could just talk.
Yeah, there's me just whining. If we could just talk. Thanks again, everyone. I appreciate you watching the channel. Have a good one. Ronan Kazi out.
If we could just talk, it'd be great. Oh, sigh.